To be or not to be, that is the question. Even William Shakespeare, the medieval philosopher and writer, if he had lived today, would not survive in the times, in drama, and in this very tough industry in South Africa. This is not Hollywood, it's definitely not Broadway. Today we speak to Loukmaan Adams about the entertainment industry and arts and culture. This is one of the industries that's been hardest hit during COVID-19, and they've had to think out of the box when it comes to surviving this horrific storm called COVID-19 and the coronavirus crisis. This is the SA Diplomat Abroad. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and pound the notification bell. We chat to Loukmaan Adams about arts and culture.
Let's do this. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Do you want to hear a Nederlands of 'n moppie wat by jou laat dans? Jou link is jou ticket, so kry dit by Quicket. It's time for us to celebrate our culture with hats and bright umbrellas. In this time of isolation, we bring you culture shock. You can watch it from Australia of op jou stoepie in Belgravia. Want hier gaan ons kriebel met kammies en jingles. It's time for us to celebrate our culture met koffies en umbrellas. In this time of isolation, we bring you culture shock. Let's celebrate our culture with kumas and umbrellas. In this time of isolation, we bring you culture. Oh! Yeah! Us. Yeah, yeah. Kana, 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 kina, dina, dina, ho, ho. Kana, 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 dina.
Today we're chatting to Loukmaan Adams. Now, the industry that we're speaking about is one of those industries that's been highly under pressure, especially over the last 6 months with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic crisis across the world. South Africa isn't Broadway, and it's definitely not Hollywood. So the pressures felt in this little corner of the world is far worse than anywhere else felt in the industry. Loukmaan, welcome to the SA Diplomat Abroad.
Shukran for having me.
I think my audience and,
Yes.
and the audiences of the channel would be exceptionally excited to see you sitting here to my right.
I hope so. It's nice to be chatting to you guys from over there.
Yeah. So basically, Loukmaan, where we're sitting today is a difference to where we sat last year this time.
Definitely. It's a difference to where we were sitting 6 months ago. The last gig that I did was probably in January, not knowing that this is going to happen. A lot of my colleagues, we've had contracts in place, we have productions in place, and we can't do it. We had to cancel our contracts at the Baxter Theatre, at Artscape, some sitcoms, and that's the harsh reality that we don't have anyone.
So basically what the SA Diplomat Abroad is doing at the moment, we in South Africa, and we are looking at business sectors in South Africa and the pressures that they face currently. So from what I ascertain from what you're saying is that the last 6 months have been exceptionally difficult for your industry.
It's been insane. I mean, a lot of musicians, even not just musicians or actors, also from the technical side, you get people who work in wardrobe, security. Some of those places had restaurants and bars and whatever goes with that. When you walk into a theatre, there's so many aspects of people who are unemployed. So that entire setup is now null and void.
So, I mean, to take a look at your specific position at the moment. 6 months ago, you mentioned that in January, February was your last gig. So that was your last paying gig.
That's the last paying gig.
Last paying.
I came off, it was called a jazz cruise. Very excited still about how amazing 2020 is going to start, and then this happened.
Okay, now obviously one had to think out of the box when
Yes.
looking at the industry and from your perspective. What changes has the industry gone into in order to firstly survive this pandemic, and secondly, we don't know when it's going to end, so
No,
into
we
the
don't.
future.
We don't. Most of the artists and musicians I know started going online. It wasn't something that I was sort of familiar with, and I know it's been around probably anywhere else in the world. It's just that this new format wasn't new to well, we weren't accustomed to it. Even for comedians, usually you prefer having an audience, just getting that laughter, and so you sort of feel your audience. And even when you're singing a song, you wait for that applause to happen. So we had to kind of adapt to that sort of format, and not just as performers or artists. Also, our audiences have now realized we can't go out anymore. We can't go to the movies. We can't go to the theater. So we need to try and bring that entertainment into our homes. But that in itself, everyone had to reshuffle everything in their heads and kind of go like, okay, this is a new way of doing it. But the good that came out of it is that you now save. In a way, you don't have to pay petrol, you don't have to pay your 10 rand parking ticket, you don't have to dress up, you don't have to buy expensive cool drinks at the cafe or whatever, you don't have to buy popcorn. You can pay 50 rand and the whole household can watch the program. But that being said, if you're from South Africa or especially Cape Town, and there's so many productions happening, the expectation level also goes up now, because people were sort of lenient in the beginning where they said, okay, you're shooting in his lounge and we're okay with that. But then being just a Cape Townian, we're very competitive. We want the best lights and the best sound, and the audience sort of becomes judges now. They kind of go, yeah, we've seen that, but that other show had nicer lights, and that thingy had nicer sound. So you are expected to still give the same amount of production quality, but with the less resources.
So we've seen over the last while, when we look at your Western counterparts across the pond,
Yes.
and we've seen that they've basically started doing solo performances online from their lounges, from homemade studios and so on. Is that where you are aiming towards?
That is definitely where we're aiming towards, but also, like I say, the expectation level is high. People don't just want to see you sit there and talk. They want to see the bells and whistles and smoke machines, because it's entertaining on the eye. They want to know that you've used 3 different cameras and there's different shots, because you're really sitting at home, not doing anything. So now someone says to you, oh, and I do have to say though, a lot of people have also done these shows where they ask for donations.
Yes.
And there are some angels out there that can donate. You know, if it's 1,000 rand or 2,000 rand, if it's a worthy cause. But then there's also also people who are unemployed and they can't really afford to donate 500 rand, but they do. So I think the main reason why we're doing this, all of us are going through this depressing time, and if we can bring some sort of enjoyment or laughter, or just where you can forget about what's happening in the news. You wake up to X amount of people dying and all this negative stuff. If we can just create a platform where for an hour or two, you can actually forget about that, and you can kind of go like, ah, man, they took me back now to a time when I was 12, 16, or if it's culture, or if it's a comedy show. So I think that is sort of where we as actors, performers are at, knowing that the entertainment value makes you forget the situation that you're in.
Yeah. So, I mean, when we look at the way things are structured, I mean, every industry that we've been interviewing, everyone's speaking about digital technology, everyone's speaking about ways of getting their messages out there and getting their business out there via the digital space. Now, in chatting to you prior to the interview, I mean, we do realize that you've been very proactive in trying to get to that space as well.
Yes.
So tell us about what the upcoming events and what the build-up is towards something that would be more concrete during this very trying time.
Firstly, I want to say it's only because of small businesses who saw our vision that we can do what we're doing right now. It's been in our production, we have people who work on the construction, we have people who work in catering, and all of them are unemployed now. So we try to create a space where we can still employ our musicians, if it's production or whatever, but we could only do it because of these small businesses. And what I've liked about this period right now is that there's some sort of synergy between small businesses and just the average man. And also we now realize that it's okay to put the production together, because to put content together, but we need to work with people who understand the digital side. Not all of us know how to work a camera and capture those moments, and that's what collaborations are all about. People from different sectors saying, this is what I can bring to the product. So the band can bring the music, digital bits can bring their amazing stuff, the lighting guy can bring, and in that sense, I'm excited about what we're busy with, because there are so many different communities that we involving in this thing. If it's Mitchell's Plain, Manenberg, Hanover Park, Bullcup, they're all excited to be part of a project. Firstly, we celebrate our heritage. We celebrate it in a space that's safe, and we bring it to not just Cape Town. We bring it to the world. Someone in Dubai or New Zealand or Australia can buy a link of 50 Rand, which is not that much.
For the viewer's sake, that's only 10 Riyal. So in the Arabian Peninsula.
Yes, and that's what, and we're giving the youth a chance or the opportunity to walk on a platform in Cape Town, and they can be seen all over the world. And I think that in itself, for where we're at right now, that is the way forward.
Okay, now you've watered our mouths as far as your event is concerned and the planning for the event. What is the actual event? What's the name of it, and what is it going to entail?
The name of the show is Culture Shock, where we take 15 guys performing the Malay choir aspect. We're doing 2 events of the Malay choir, which is the traditional Nederlands song and the Afrikaans moppie. Then they leave and we have their juvenile performing. When they come back, they dress in their different gear, their klopse gear, and then they're going to do an English comic. But what's nice, what's different about this particular production is that the audience gets to be a judge. They get to say who they feel should win, if it's the comic, if it's the Afrikaans comic, English comic. They get, when you buy your link from Quicket, you get the ballot and you can decide. I think this person must win, that person must. So everyone can feel part of this amazing production. I do have to say, I've got some amazing partners. They've been friends of mine forever. They're called Oddball Concepts, and between the 4 of us, we were able to make an idea. We were just sitting in a lounge, making a simple idea into a reality, and for everyone, even the team members, to kind of go, we're buying into this, was emotional. And as this is happening, you can see how excited people are getting. You can see how I can't say physical, but competitive they're getting. You can see how exciting they're getting, just to be able to, because they understand the magnitude of this now and how far we can reach. We're not playing to those 500 or 1,000 people in the city hall anymore. We're playing to thousands of people all over the world.
Loukmaan, advice to anyone looking to get into the industry, and especially now during this trying time, to the youngsters, basically.
To the youngsters out there, I think this time and this period has really humbled a lot of people. But it's also time for you to kind of go, the field is sort of even now. If you can do whatever it is you want to do. All of us are struggling, all of us are struggling. And put yourself out there. If you believe in a concept, go with it. I was very scared in the beginning. I wasn't quite sure what people are going to say. But we just went with our gut and we said, listen, we believe in this product. We believe in this concept. And today we're here talking to you. You see?
Loukmaan, thank you very much for your time. We're going to spread this message as far and wide as we can. And hopefully we can round up some good support for you.
I hope so too. Guys, shukran for having me, and please support our show called Culture Shock.
Sarel, hoekom is jy altyd laat? Sarel, hoekom is jy altyd laat? Sarel, hoekom is jy altyd laat? As jy saam met Suid-Afrika moet praat. Sy naam is Sarel, Sarel in die middel. Praat breed op die TV, maar skuil nou vir Dlamini. Sy naam is Sarel, Sarel in die middel. Praat breed op die TV, maar skuil nou vir Dlamini. Daar vliegen virus oor Suid-Afrika, oor Suid-Afrika, oor Suid-Afrika. Daar vliegen virus oor Suid-Afrika, en corona is die ding se naam. Wie het vir Sarel gesê om in
So that's Loukmaan Adams, and as I said in the beginning, this isn't Hollywood, this is South Africa. It's also not Broadway. So, you know, our philosophy has been for a very long time, support local and buy local. This is a local artist, and I'm sure every South African watching this video understands that local music is the best. So we, from the SA Diplomat, encourage you please to support this event and events of this types of nature. This is an industry that deserves to be saved. It's the industry that keeps us happy. This is the SA Diplomat Abroad, live from Cape Town at the venue in Lansdowne. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and pound that notification bell. Until next time.
As ek rondry sonder masker en 'n beland ek in die mang. Sarel, hoekom is jy altyd laat? As jy saam met Suid-Afrika, jy saam met Suid-Afrika, jy saam met Suid-Afrika. Ja, moet praat.